So here's what you need for the first wash. First of all, you need 2 buckets because we're doing the 2 bucket method. And I have one for rinse, and then I have one for wash, okay? Next, you also need a car wash shampoo that's included in the kit. And then you're going to be needing a wash mitt that's also included in the kit. And this is optional, but highly recommended. You want a grit guard with a washboard, and what this does is it keeps the dirt at the bottom of the bucket. And this is a washboard, so you can kind of, I guess, clean out your mitt right here and then let the dirt drop to the bottom of the bucket. And then lastly, you want a garden hose, preferably something that has a spray jet. So before we get started, we're gonna go ahead and clean out these buckets, okay? And it may be clean before, but you just wanna make sure that it's completely clean. So we're gonna go ahead and use the jet function and go ahead and just rinse it out. Do the same for the other one. Once it's clean, if you have a grit guard, go ahead and put it down the rinse bucket, okay? And then we're gonna go ahead and fill the whole rinse bucket about 3/4 up, okay? So let's go ahead and fill it up. Now that the rinse bucket is filled up, we're gonna go ahead and get the wash bucket ready. Just gonna put this aside. And what you want is about 5 or 6 bloops. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's do one more. And once that's in the bottom, it's real thick, go ahead and fill this up to about 3/4 as well. Since there's a lot of foam, I typically fill it up all the way, and that ends up being about 3/4. The reason why we do this is traditionally if you just get one bucket and then you use the same bucket to get your soap, put it on your car, rinse it, you're essentially putting back the dirt that you got from your car back to that same exact bucket. And when that happens, you have the risk of getting that contaminant and then maybe a rock or pebble or something like that gets stuck, and then you could actually scratch your car. But if you do this, you minimize the risk of doing that. So you have a wash, and this is only going to be wash. You're rinsing it in the rinse bucket and using that washboard, and then that grit guard keeps the dirt down, and then after that you have a lot less risk of scratching your vehicle. So that's the whole concept. Even though we're just doing the front PPF for this installation, we do recommend washing the whole entire car. And the reason why is because you don't want a lot of dirt around the surrounding areas. You may accidentally touch it, so you have a little bit of risk of getting dirt into your PPF. If your car is super dirty, I would recommend changing out these buckets every now and then just to make sure that you're not putting back dirt, even though you have this grit guard. And if you don't have the grit guard, that's even more reason to maybe changing out your buckets. And lastly, let's talk about the order of the way we're going to be doing this. If you start washing your car from the bottom, which usually is the dirtiest portion, right? Mud gets fling in the bottom areas. And then you go to the top, you're essentially getting all that dirt and then putting it back on the top, right? So we start from the cleanest, which is typically the top, and then work our way to the bottom. And that's exactly why we do top to bottom. So let's go ahead and rinse this and get started. In the rinsing process, what you're really trying to do is trying to get rid of as much, bug guts or bird poop or anything without touching the car and with just water. So if you have a jet stream mode, that's what I would be using. And then try to get as much possible and then just get it wet, right? Because you need to have it wet before you start putting the wash and the car wash shampoo. The front bumper is probably where you're going to be having a lot of bug guts because it's a direct impact right here in the front, right? So this is where you're going to be using, again, the stream mode, and go ahead and wash that out. And one thing, if you notice, is I like to put it over my shoulder, so I'm never touching the car with my hose, right? So let's get started. You got a little bug gut right here. Now that the car is rinsed and nice and wet, it's ready to be washed. And we're gonna do exactly what we talked about. We're gonna do top to bottom, so we minimize the amount of dirt that can go back on your car. So when you have a wash mitt, just like this, get it nice and saturated. And when you go to the top, a lot of people try to force it, right? They try to put a lot of force, and that's really not what you want to do. The solution, the car wash shampoo, is what's going to break it down and eventually get it out, right? Get the dirt out. So you're just going to glide across the back just like that, the whole back, and go in straight lines like that. And then you could flip it, because I haven't used the other side, and you're going to do the other side. But once you're done, you're gonna get this wash mitt, and I can already see some bird poop and dirt right here. You're gonna rinse it, use that washboard, and kind of wash it, right? Both sides, I really wanna get that. And then you're going to be inspecting it. You could put your hand here, just like that. You're just gonna be inspecting that wash mitt so there's no rocks or anything. And you're gonna go ahead and do that. And then we can put it back into the wash bucket, right? So the next step is we're gonna go ahead and wash the whole car with that method. We're gonna go to the side, and then we're gonna again work our way from top to bottom. We're gonna put the exact order that we want you to do it in. Follow along, we'll put some music. We'll see you once we're done. If you notice, right when I got to here, I actually didn't go all the way at the bottom. And the reason why is this area is filthy. It's the dirtiest area. So I'm gonna wait a little bit, right? So once I get to that position, kind of stop, and then I do that last. Great job, we're done with the first wash section. We just need to rinse it off. And it looks way better already. But if you weren't able to get some spots, don't worry, we're gonna do another step. So don't go and try to rub it off. That's actually gonna cause more damage. So let's go ahead and rinse it off. I'm gonna just have it in a spray mode like that. I'm gonna go ahead, go from top to bottom, just the same.